This year on the podcast, we've dedicated several episodes to outlining how to pick quality supplements and avoid fraudulent products. If you have any doubt this is a real concern when shopping for supplements, we have yet another example showing it is a big issue. This time the focus was supplements with berberine, which is a fast-growing category among consumers. A company called Supco, which operates a digital health platform, purchased 13 top-selling berberine products from Amazon and had a third-party lab test them to see if they contained the amount of berberine listed on the product label. The lab results found that 7 of the 13 tested appeared to contain less than 10% of the claimed amount of berberine, including a couple that registered no detectable berberine at all. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Nature City Podcast. I'm your host, Carl Perdelli. If you haven't been here before, I'm also the CEO and co-founder of the company, having started Nature City over 20 years ago with my wife, Beth, and since then, it's been our honor to have served over 500,000 Americans by offering them the best supplements we can make. This year on the podcast, we've dedicated several episodes to outlining how to pick quality supplements and avoid fraudulent products. If you have any doubt this is a real concern when shopping for supplements, we have yet another example showing it is a big issue. This time the focus was supplements with berberine, which is a fast-growing category among consumers. A company called Supco, which operates a digital health platform, purchased 13 top-selling berberine products from Amazon and had a third-party lab test them to see if they contained the amount of berberine listed on the product label. The lab results found that 7 of the 13 tested appeared to contain less than 10% of the claimed amount of berberine, including a couple that registered no detectable berberine at all. Now, this category of supplements was ripe for bad actors to sell fraudulent supplements for a few reasons. One, as mentioned, berberine is becoming very popular because research shows it can be very helpful for blood sugar and metabolic health, which may also help weight management. Second, the dose of regular berberine needed to deliver results is rather significant, at 1,500 milligrams per day. This means a legitimate supplement brand must invest a good amount of dollars in raw material, which of course it has to pass on to consumers of the product. This opens the door for bad actors to cut corners and not put 1,500 milligrams in their products and undercut quality brands on price. Now, you know the old saying, you get what you pay for. It was true in this berberine study, as the average cost of the 6 berberine supplements that passed the lab test was about $33.44 per bottle. On the other hand, the average price of the 7 products that failed was only $25, a lot less. One of the tips I mentioned in earlier episodes is to be wary of supplements with prices that seem too good to be true. Trust your instincts, because there's a good chance you're not getting what you bargained for. Low price often doesn't mean great value, especially when it comes to supplements. Now, another challenge with berberine is the relatively high 1,500 milligram daily serving often causes stomach upset or gastrointestinal distress in users. It's one of the top complaints of berberine supplements. And in a bit, I'll explain how we try to overcome this at Nature City. But if you hear a supplement brand say, we give you 1,500 milligrams of berberine and it never causes stomach issues, that should be a red flag for you. It's more likely the reason the product is tolerated so well is because it contains very little or no berberine. Another consumer challenge that this berberine study highlighted is the danger of relying on product ratings to determine the quality of the product. We all do this, right? When shopping on Amazon, it's hard to ignore a product you're interested in that has a good price and a good star rating. Well, in this berberine study, 6 of the 7 products that failed had an Amazon Choice designation or an average consumer rating of over 4.3 stars. Sounds surprising, but again demonstrates you can't solely rely on these ratings or marks for supplements. For example, even if the reviews were legit, and that's an entirely separate topic of concern, maybe use just like the taste of the gummies or the price, not realizing the product may not even contain any berberine. I know all this is a challenge, which is why I did my tips for buying supplements early this year. I think you'll find they can help you identify trustworthy brands and reliable products. Now, A few words on berberine and how we approach it as a supplement at Nature City. One of berberine's key functions is supporting blood sugar metabolism and helping the body convert carbohydrates into cellular energy. This is particularly significant as we age when maintaining healthy blood sugar levels, managing weight and body composition, and promoting cardiovascular health typically comes more challenging. One of the ways berberine works is by supporting insulin in its key function, which is helping support glucose, or helping, I should say, transport glucose from the bloodstream to muscle or fat cells. Cells use the glucose for energy or convert it to fat for longer term storage. Additionally, it's believed that berberine helps activate the AMPK enzyme, which helps direct carbohydrates to muscle rather than fat, which can promote a better body composition. Since AMPK activity also tends to decline as we age, surprise, this support from berberine is also very helpful. Now, berberine is found in several plants, most notably the Berberis aristata plant, which is also known as Indian barberry. Despite its benefits, one challenge with berberine supplementation is its low absorption rate in the bloodstream, which is why doses of 1,000 milligrams up to 1,500 milligrams per day are typically required to produce desired support. As mentioned, this amount of berberine can lead to gastrointestinal discomfort for some users, making daily intake over time unsustainable. Now, recently there's been an innovation to address this problem. It starts with the recognition that to help absorption, our bodies convert some of the berberine we consume into the dihydroberberine in the gut. Once in intestinal tissues, the dihydroberberine is converted back to berberine and enters the bloodstream. Understanding this process led to the creation of a supplement ingredient called GlucoVantage. The makers of GlucoVantage essentially do the hard work for your body, converting berberine to active dihydroberberine, giving you a more digestion-ready supplement ingredient that gets absorbed much better than standard berberine. In fact, research found that just 100 milligrams of GlucoVantage increased berberine levels in the blood about 5 times better than the standard 500 milligram serving of regular berberine. That's a major improvement. And in addition to being more convenient, the lower GlucoVantage dose is much less likely to cause stomach or gastrointestinal distress. Now, one other tip for you to consider when you're taking to maximize the benefits of GlucoVantage or berberine on weight management and body composition is combine supplementation with regular high-intensity exercise or strength training. Here's why. You'll recall we said berberine helps support insulin in moving glucose to cells. The glucose has to go somewhere, either in fat cells or muscle cells. If the energy is stored in fat, it can create more fat, so driving glucose to muscle is preferable. When you exercise, what happens? Muscles get depleted of energy. So insulin would direct more glucose to these muscles and have less to give to fat cells, which should mean less fat creation. At NHC, we incorporate 100 milligrams of GlucoVantage in each capsule of our True Gluco SP product, which also includes in situ brown seaweed and also chromium for a comprehensive approach to metabolic and blood sugar health. We recommend taking 2 to 3 capsules daily for optimal results. Take the capsules about 15 to 30 minutes before a meal. You can learn more about True Gluco SP at naturecity.com. Thanks for joining me today. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you won't miss future episodes of the Nature City podcast, or you can listen to us on your favorite streaming service. We're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. This is Carl Pradelli, and I'll see you next week.